Hi, welcome to the episode 6 of the Republic. Today we are looking at the concept of truth and wisdom. This is where the Republic becomes less about politics and more about truth itself. Up to this point, Socrates has argued that philosophers should rule. But if that is true, a very obvious question follows. Why do philosophers almost never rule? Why can't we have the most intelligent one among us as our king? Why can't we have the most intelligent professors, university professors, researchers as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? And even more importantly, why are people who spend their lives searching for truth often ignored, mocked, or treated as a threat? This is where Plato takes us in episode 6 of the Republic. At this point in the dialogue, many people that were listening to Socrates were struggling with his argument. After all, when they look around Athens, philosophers do not appear powerful. The powerful people in the society are politicians, military leaders, wealthy businessmen, and maybe popular orators, popular speakers. So, why should philosophers rule? To answer this question, which is the first question, why should philosophers rule? Why should philosophers rule? Socrates introduces one of the most famous political illustrations in history. He titled it The Ship of State. Let us imagine a large ship crossing the ocean. The owner of the ship is physically strong, but he has a problem. What is his problem? His eyesight is poor. His hearing is weak. And he does not fully understand navigation. Now, imagine the crew. Every sailor wants control of the ship. The problem is that none of them have actually studied navigation. There is a lot they've not studied. They've not studied the winds. They've not studied the currents. They've not studied stars. They've not studied the weather. They don't even know sailing techniques. But they all desperately want power. So they begin fighting. Some flatter the owner of the ship. Some manipulate him. Some deceive him. Some even use force to take over the sailing of the ship. So whoever gains control of the steering wheel claims to be the rightful captain. Meanwhile, there is one person on board who actually understands navigation. He has spent years studying the stars, seasons, tides, and weather patterns. He knows how to guide the ship safely, but the crew ignores him. In fact, they mock him. They call him a useless dreamer, a stargazer. They refer to him as someone disconnected from reality. Now, let us stop here for a moment. Because Plato, as we know at this point, is no longer talking about a ship. The ship here is referring to the society. The sailors are politicians competing for power. The power is the public, and the navigator is the philosopher. He knows everything, but they mock him. Plato's argument is very simple. Societies often reward people who are skilled at gaining power rather than people who are skilled at understanding truth. And honestly, these observations still feel painfully relevant today. Now, let us use election campaigns again. How often do you, as voters, choose leaders because of powerful speeches, tribal identity, religious affiliation, and social media popularity, even emotional slogans like we have in Nigeria: renewed hope, change the change. So these are some of the things that direct the way we vote. Now let's come down to corporate leadership. Sometimes the person who rises to the top is not the most knowledgeable person in the organization. Who are the people that are often celebrated and are often given the power in the organization? It is the person who understands office politics. Now, we've seen the way this operates in the society. We've seen the way it operates in the corporate organization. Let's look at another example. Think about social media. A scientist may spend 20 years researching a subject. An influencer may spend 20 minutes making a confident video. Sometimes the influencer receives more attention than the expert. This is not surprising at all. The point is that societies often confuse visibility with wisdom. Now, let us push this further. Imagine you are seriously sick. Would you choose your doctor through a popularity context? Will you gather 1,000 people and ask them to vote on who should perform surgery? Of course not. You will choose the most qualified person. Yet, when it comes to governing entire societies, people often use very different standards. This is the tension Plato wants us to think about. The first question is, why should philosophers govern the society? The next question we are looking at is equally very important. If philosophers are so valuable, why are they usually rejected? What did Socrates say? Socrates argues that truth seekers often become unpopular because they challenge comfortable beliefs. And history gives us many examples. Consider the case of Galileo Galilei, where he argues that the earth moves around the sun. Many powerful people resisted him, not because the evidence was weak, but because the truth threatened accepted beliefs. Or think about journalists. We still have the case of Dadeyata, for instance. Some of them, they expose corruption. And you'll be thinking people that do this kind of work should be the richest people, the richest in the society. Many do not become rich. In fact, they are not even celebrated. Instead, they face lawsuits, they face threats, harassment, and isolation. Why is that? Because truth can be inconvenient. A society often prefers comforting illusions to uncomfortable realities. This is one reason Socrates himself was eventually sentenced to death in Athens. He constantly asked difficult questions. He challenged assumptions. He forced people to examine their lives. Many people found that deeply irritating. Plato believes the philosopher's uselessness is not the philosopher's fault. The problem is that society often fails to recognize wisdom when it ceases. To explain what philosophers are actually seeking, Socrates introduces the third idea, the idea of the good. Now, this is one of the most difficult concepts in the entire republic. So let us approach it slowly. Imagine entering a dark room. In that room are books, chairs, tables, and pictures. But because there is no light, you cannot see any of them. That does not mean the object does not exist, but they remain hidden. Now, someone turns on a light, suddenly everything becomes visible. The objects have not changed. What changed is your ability to see them. What is Plato saying here? He's saying that the truth works in similar way, and this is where he introduces the image of the sun. Think about the role of the sun in everyday life. The sun allows us to see. Without sunlight, what will happen? Roads disappear into darkness, buildings become invisible. You even find it difficult to see colors. But the sun does more than help us to see, it also supports life itself. Plants grow because of sunlight. Food exists because of sunlight. Life depends on it. Plato says the good plays the same role in the world of understanding. Just as the sun makes physical sight possible, the good makes intellectual understanding possible. It allows us to distinguish truth from falsehood, justice from injustice, wisdom from ignorance. Without it, we are left with opinions. And this is where Plato makes an important distinction between knowledge and opinion. We look at this in our last episode, where we differentiate between knowledge and opinion. Now, let us use a modern example. Suppose a story begins trending online. Thousands of people share it. Millions react emotionally. People form strong opinion immediately. Then a week later, evidence emerges showing the story was false. What happened? People had opinions. They did not have knowledge. And we see this always playing out among our politicians, where the voice message of the president was doctored. And instead of the media to verify before pointing an accusing finger, they went ahead to sound a note of warning to the wrong person. Plato is warning us about something that still affects modern society. To form opinion is very easy, but knowledge is difficult. Most of the time, opinion reacts, but knowledge will investigate. Opinion will follow appearances. Knowledge will always search for reality. And according to Plato, most people spend their lives moving from one opinion to another without ever examining whether those opinions are true. The philosopher is different. The philosopher is willing to ask difficult questions. The philosopher is willing to challenge popular assumptions. The philosopher is willing to follow evidence even when it leads somewhere uncomfortable. This is why Plato believes philosophers should rule, not because they are perfect, not because they are superior human beings, but because they are committed to seeking truth rather than mere chasing power. Now, whether Plato is right is something every reader must decide for themselves. But his question remains relevant. Will you rather be led by someone who wants power or by someone who wants truth? In the next episode, Plato gives us his most famous illustration, the allegory of the cave. This is a story about prisoners, shadows, illusions, education, and the painful journey from ignorance to understanding. And once you understand the cave, you begin to understand why people often resist the truth, even when it is standing directly in front of them. Thank you once again for joining me today. I remain Osho Abiodun. See you in the next episode.